Oh, go ahead. If you get in there and you can't read the screen, the top icon there is the language. Okay, go ahead.
On this one here, let me do this button here gives you the options to be able to log into Nela Service Administrator, which requires passwords.
Right.
The Nela Service is Alan, which is Nela spelled
backwards.
The Administrator is Caps VCP Admin.
B as in boy.
V as in Victor. Victor Cat Paul.
Okay.
Admin. It's
Okay.
all caps.
Got it.
Now what it does, you'll come in here and it gives you an on-screen keyboard.
Mm-hmm.
We'll go into Nela Service.
Any reason for us to get into administrator at all?
Not really.
Okay.
For you guys, not really.
Good.
Now what this does is it gives you more options in the alignment. You now can go into vision setup, and back in the overview, when you get into general configuration, you can change. It brings your tabs live to where you can activate them, and also like in your alarm history, you can these tabs go live, and you can actually clear it.
Okay.
Okay. Alarm page. A lot of times nothing really records an alarm page. But this alarm history is great troubleshooting.
Okay.
Very good troubleshooter. Process data. What that does is every time it registers a plate, be it vision or edge, it records it. If it fails the vision, you'll get red X's in here. If it fails an edge plate, you'll get a red X.
Does it record anywhere how much correction was made to a plate when it was bent?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, excellent. It ain't moving much.
No.
Okay. All right.
Configuration profiles. Really nothing here you'll do.
Okay.
And then again, your user management, same tab there as it is right here.
Okay.
We go into alignment, video configuration, or your configuration video alignment. Here you can change your tolerance, the maximum cycle times.
Okay.
That it'll look to register the plate.
Tries to register 3 times and it rejects it.
If it can.
Okay.
Exactly. This one, if you touch it, it'll change, and I'd rather not do it because then.
Yep, you got to start all over again.
It'll be, you can, right now, the dominant camera is the trail side, and then your target works within kind of like a slot
Okay.
on the Y, but it's
Right.
controlled with X.
Okay. So the dominant
You
camera.
don't want to ever change that.
Yeah, I believe that. So the dominant camera is both X and Y.
Correct.
Correction. But this camera here is only pulling the tail edge
X.
X. Okay. And later I'll mark up a plate with which is X and which is Y. Is long ways X and short ways Y?
Y is head to tail.
Y is head to tail. Okay, that'll work. Okay. And right now our tolerance is 0.02 thousandths?
Yeah, 2
So it's saying that it wants to align, when it does its adjustment, it wants to be within 2 thousandths of an inch when it's done.
Mm-hmm.
Vision bending?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, gotcha.
Okay. This is where you're going to teach model.
Okay.
Now, in order to teach your model or set targets,
Okay.
you pull this screen up and you hit this button here with the 4 arrows.
Okay.
Make a live.
Okay.
Hit start.
Okay.
And it tells you to apply a master.
Okay.
Now the machine knows whether or not you're putting in a single or whether you're putting in a double.
Right.
And once the plate goes into the machine, it'll pre-register it.
Okay.
It'll go out to registration position. Stop.
Okay.
Then you have to turn your cameras on live, and then that's when you square up that box
Right.
on the target like
Yep.
we did over in number
I have
3.
that other video of that.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Okay. Then when you're done, you go. What I like to do is I turn the cameras off. It'll say, well, I'll turn them on real quick. Stop. You want to stop them.
You want to make one live.
Then you go into calibrate, and you want to look at the structure of your target. And we'll make sure you got a good solid green and no green dots around the outside.
Not overly dense and not underly dense,
Right,
right? And that was a setting of contrast, or
Right, that's when you use these gain and exposure time slides.
Most of the gain, though, right?
Right, most of the gain.
Okay. Exposure time relates to.
How fast it's taking the snapshots.
Okay.
Now, once you've trained one plate, you don't necessarily have to train the other one unless you've done CTP changes or template changes.
Okay.
Okay. Then you get your other plate and you do the process all over again.
When you say the other plate, you mean a double
Single
truck?
or double, right.
Okay. All right. Gotcha.
And this will go back to whatever the current settings is for that particular size plate.
Okay.
Okay. Current format 1 is single wide.
Okay.
If it says 2, that's for a double wide.
Okay.
And that's told what's coming out off of the conveyor back.
Right. You got two sensors back there to know if there's X amount of aluminum that goes by. It's a single. If it's Y amount. Okay. Gotcha.
And that's really all you have to do. You don't have to go and save like you had to on the other USAT line that you had.
Once you make the changes.
Once you make changes,
they're done.
it's saved.
Okay. All right. So right now we're in this mode using this icon right here.
Right.
And are we done? Is that the?
Yeah, now you're done. So what you can do to exit the plate, you can just turn it off. It'll exit the plate automatically.
Okay.
And then you can hit your 200 again, or I'm sorry, your 202, and you can start running those single wide plates or double wide, whatever you reset.
So right now, what we did to bring it out of that state was we hit that and then we hit the start. Okay.
To put it back into 202.
Gotcha. And we're at 202, so it's ready for a plate.
These two buttons here is basically the same thing as you got down here on your panel.
Okay.
This is your start and your stop.
Okay.
If you hit your stop, it'll start bouncing between 200 and 0. If you hit your start, it goes back
to
into 202.
Okay.
It's just the same as what's down here.
Okay.
Anytime you log into service,
Right. Need to log back
you
out.
need to log out, or you let anybody have opportunity to do any changes to it.
Okay. So you do that by.
Just hit operator. There's no password.
You
required.
started out here, though, right?
Well, yeah, because
To
I had to
get to
get
that
the user.
screen.
I had to get the
Right.
user management.
Okay. And then hit operator, and operator's highlighted right now.
Yeah, well, yeah, but it's also current users
Ah,
operator.
gotcha. Okay. Good.
Then you just go back to your normal screen.
So our normal screen is overview. That's what we're normally.
Even though you're in here, you hit overview. Let's do this. Okay, if you're in alignment and one of the last tabs you had opened was the alarm page,
Right.
it's going to reopen to that page.
Okay.
So you just come over here to overview.
So we want to be in overview, and we might, somebody's going to lean on this thing someday and hit, whoops, where the hell are we? And all we have to do is go back to overview.
Right.
Okay.
Even though it's got an on-screen keyboard, I always attach keyboard and mouse down there.
Gotcha. Good backup.
When you're sizing that block around the target, it's a lot easier.
It's easier to
with the
work
mouse.
with. Okay.
Unless you got a stylist.
Okay. All right.
Now, if this application you accidentally shut it down,
Okay.
give it 15 seconds.
Okay.
It's still in the background, closing down.
Closing itself up.
This icon right here where it says VCPNet
Right.
is the application.
Okay.
You can either double click it. Sometimes double clicking, it'll try to open up twice.
Okay.
A lot of times what I do is I hold it, pull my finger away, and then it gives you an option to open.
Okay. But if you're good, you can double click it, and it
Yes.
came right back up to 202 again.
Yes. The reason it did that is because it would close it down in 202 state, and the PLC was already set up for 202.
Okay. So there's a PLC on board in this, and the PC is talking to the PLC. How is it talking to it? By
Ethernet.
Ethernet? Okay. Okay.
If the application becomes unresponsive, check the Ethernet connection on the back of the computer.
Okay.
This machine over here, number 1, we had a problem with the Ethernet cable coming unplugged out of the computer, didn't clip in properly.
Gotcha.
and it became unresponsive, and I found that the cable wouldn't come out.
Sure. Good.
All this is covered in the manual,
Okay.
so you know.
And
It
there,
doesn't have the passwords on it
okay. There is a printed manual in the machine, or
though. Mike was printing a bunch of stuff on
he was
this,
going to
so-
print? Okay. So we should.
Yeah, because we send everything on a USB
Flash drive.
Yeah.
I'll probably snag one of the flash drives out here and put it away for
Yeah, 'cause
safekeeping.
this one and this one have got the flash drives in it. And what I've done. Come on, get over there. I can't move it. I copied it right there.
Everything on the flash drive's in that file?
That's everything. That's all
Oh,
three
good.
machines.
Okay, good.
Okay. Everything from. These are your. I believe your. This gives you your general information, your layouts, and that kind of stuff on that particular file. Control unit documents. These are your electric and pneumatics. Okay.
Hey, are they drawn American?
Oh yeah.
No
These-
kidding.
Yeah, these are done here in the States.
All right.
So everything's here. The farther down you go, you'll get into your pneumatics. There's your pneumatics here.
Okay.
These two machines are identical.
Okay.
That one's a little bit different.
All right.
But yeah, everything's in here that you need. Your layouts for your sensors, all three lines.
Okay.
And here's the operator manual.
Good.
Yeah. This gives you everything you need to know about the machine. Here's a description of all your buttons.
Okay. Show me what file that was again. Manual. Okay.
Yeah, it's operator manual.
Oh, it's pretty plainly marked. Okay.
The VCP 1420 mod kit is for line 3.
Okay.
And then your CPPs and CPXs pertain to your conveyors and your stackers.
Okay.
Your drawings will have part numbers on them. Down here's the part numbers. If you need something, this is the number you would give us.
Gotcha.
Now it is dual language, German, English.
Okay.
So
That's all right. As long as schematics are drawn in America,
yeah.
that helps me.
So, and then this just is the drawing on the play gauge, which is wrapped up and in that office. And
Good. Okay. And in the electrical closet.
Right. And I
And-
wrote on the front, open on the top, because it'll slide out of there.
So to use the plate gauge, you just lay a plate down on it, and
Yeah, you slide your lead edge of your plate up
Okay.
against these pins.
Okay.
You register, you locate your register here.
Mhm.
And you hold your tail end up. Once you've got it nicely snugged up in the lead side, you
Drop
just
it.
Lightly drop it, and it should slide on.
Okay.
Yep.
Good.
Yeah, you want to refrain, and you want whenever you use this, make sure you're on a good flat surface,
Okay.
so it's not twisted.
Gotcha.
You don't want to bang it around.
Okay.
They set these on a CMM machine. In-house, they got a real nice CMM machine,
Cool.
so it's real accurate.
All right. Is that
All right,
most
sir.
of it for the computer?
And I accidentally closed them.
It's okay. It doesn't take long. We're up, and we're at 202 already. Machine is going through a little homing, it looks like.
Yeah, it was home on the table.
Okay. So what's the process? A plate hits the conveyor, trips a sensor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we'll put it in edge and I'll get it. feed the system by putting one plate on, cover this eye.
Okay.
It'll take it, it'll stage it.
So we just did edge bend by going camera off.
All right. Camera off gives you red X's on
Ah.
the screen.
Okay.
I've been
Gotcha.
telling everybody through the training, you turn the edge on, you're responsible to turn it off.
There you go.
Because the next guy that comes in may not see that. And that's why I suggest maybe getting a stack light up here, tie it into the output for the edge.
Okay.
And then this way, when people walk in here, or even if you're walking by, you can see that it's an edge.
But if this screen is up, you got a pretty good indication right here that it's an
Those
edge.
big red X's, but a lot of times, like, I come
Sure.
in the morning, it's like this.
Okay.
nobody can see it.
Nobody knows. Okay.
So,
All right. So we've got photo eyes of some sort up here at the very
that's your
beginning.
start eye back there,
Start eye back there.
coming out of the processors.
Okay. So if a plate hits that, it's going to start this conveyor.
Right.
Then it's going to use the length of the duration of
Right.
time.
If a plate passes over this sensor
Uh-huh.
and it sees a break at the end of the plate,
Then it knows it's single
it
track.
knows it's single.
Okay.
Now, if you get two single wides coming in on top of each other,
Could think it's a double.
you could think it's a double.
Okay.
Exactly.
Gotcha. Okay. And then there's a set of pins here that the bender's not ready for the next plate. It's going to
It
hold.
just holds it. Yeah.
Okay.
They'll keep staging. It'll stage two out here, but then anything else is coming to pile up here if for some reason the bender is faulted.
Gotcha. Okay. And how about the sensors inside the unit?
Your sensors inside are mounted down here on the face of the head. This one's telling it the plate is coming into the bender.
Okay.
And this one tells us the plate is at registration.
Okay.
And that one tells us the plate is exiting.
Okay. That's a nice one there. What are the SAPs?
The SAP sensors, what they do is they detect the edges of the plate.
Okay.
When it pre-registers the plate, we use the SAP sensors to know that it's in location before we register it
Okay.
in vision. Also, if you're running edge plates, it tells us that the plate's in the proper location for edge. SAP 1, 2, and SAP 4 are for your single ones.
Okay.
SAP 1, SAP 3, and SAP 4 are for your double ones.
Okay. And is there a place that, is there somewhere where I can look up where I should see an input on the PLC to know that SAP 1 is
Yes.
getting its input?
All your sensors are tied in back here at the valve bank. Even though you might be getting an input, because your SAP sensors will light up.
Okay.
So you want to make sure you've got it's activated.
With the SAP, didn't take metal to trigger it?
No.
Your finger will trigger it?
Your finger.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
Then down here on this bank, you'll look for your SAP sensor connections.
Oh, and they're all marked.
Everything's marked.
Oh, that's great. So on the rare occasion, you get one where the LED goes off on the sensor and you're
But not down here.
Right.
Either your cable or your sensor's bad.
Gotcha. Okay. So that's all the sensors is in this block, and then all the pneumatics are over here.
And you got sensors for your cylinders, telling it in certain positions that are tied in down there.
Okay. And while we're down here, I see we've got this lubricator down here. That's for the punches.
That is the punches. And that is a food grade oil.
Okay.
It's translucent, as you can see.
Yep.
And it's set up right now to oil for 2 seconds every 2,000 cycles. And what the oil does is these lines here
Uh-huh.
on the punches,
Okay.
they go down here to the strippers on the punch.
Okay.
There's a felt wick around the punch, so
Right.
every time that the punch is activated, it's going through that felt and it's lubricating.
Okay. Is there a procedure in the manual to set this up?
Yes.
For... Okay. Rather than waste time on that, we'll just look at
Also, you can change the timing and the frequency, and I'll show you that on screen. I'll
Okay.
show you that.
Oh, it's actually done through the computer?
Yeah.
Ah.
And again, I'm pretty sure this is one of these where you've got, I don't think I can, yeah. You got to be logged in to Nela service or administrator. It's under general configuration.
Okay.
You can tap it and you can change oil time.
Okay.
Right now it's set up for 2 seconds.
2 cycles every 2,000 plates.
2 seconds.
Oh, 2 seconds. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
so you want to be careful because if you really get that up there too much, you're going to be pumping oil.
Okay.
And then you'll start dripping on your plates and everything else.
So generally, to see if this, I mean, we expect an oiler to lose oil over a period of time. Seeing our operation here, how long do you think until we see that oiler start to diminish a little bit? It'll be a month.
The volume of plates you guys run, you'll see it moving, but you probably won't have to fill it for 6 to 8 months.
Okay. I got you.
And you got to completely take all the air pressure off the machine in order to fill it.
Okay.
Same thing with your cycles. You can change that. You can up it. You can lower it.
But this
however
is
you
the
want.
standard and it works.
Well, this is what we set up for your machine.
Okay.
And sometimes this gets changed through time. It may be too much oil. It may not be enough.
Sure.
So you can change it over time.
Okay. The punches, we shouldn't have any problems with
No.
sharpening or going dull.
Now, if you decide you're going to take a punch out and have it sharpened or they got damaged somehow,
Right.
only take the 4 top screws out and then lift your cylinder out and your punch will come with it.
Okay.
Your punch is attached on this coupler
Okay.
with a little M3 set screw.
Okay.
This way you won't lose your alignment from your punch housing to your die.
Okay.
If you remove the whole holder, you gotta
Then
go
it has
through
to be realigned.
Yeah, and you gotta go through a whole sequence on that. I showed and explained that to Mike and
Okay.
Tony and all them. The die plates underneath are pinned in location.
Okay.
To get them out, you can take these 2 screws out here, take the little screws out of the die plate, take like a little aluminum or brass bar from underneath,
little tap.
and lightly tap it. You don't have to work it, and it'll come up.
Come off the alignment
Yeah.
pins.
You don't want to hit them too hard because you'll shatter that.
Okay.
Because
It's harder now.
Well, yeah, and you got just a land in there.
Gotcha.
The rest of it's about 1/4 inch thick thereabouts.
Okay. So which is our punch for single?
This is your single wide,
Okay. That's our single wide.
and this is your double wide.
Okay. And are the
Lead and trail punches for the single wide are interchangeable.
okay?
Lead to trail, same thing with the doubles,
Okay.
but not from single to double.
Gotcha.
You've got 2 different widths.
Right. The double's wider to allow for. Okay. All right. So you said this is the leading edge.
Yes, that's the lead edge.
Okay.
We mark it on top here. You got trail
Oh,
edge,
cool. That's great.
lead edge.
Good. All right, stops. I see we got
Okay.
painted stops all over
Well,
the place.
these we put that tamper resistant stuff
Sure.
on so I know where it's at.
Yep.
These stops here are set for when this bar goes in,
Okay.
so that we get the proper dimension from, this is the edge that the plate registers against.
Okay.
So when the bar's in, it puts it into the location, so when the head moves out to the punch, the proper punch depth is there. Also, then when the head moves in, you get the proper tab lengths.
Okay.
You really don't want to make any adjustments to these.
I'm sure.
You'll throw things out of whack.
So this is not a conductive sensor here. This is just to push the plate.
Correct.
That's all it does.
That's all it does.
And how about the alignment of these SAP sensors? So one comes loose and moves.
Okay. SAP 1 and 4 are set. And what you do is you put it into like vision setup,
Okay.
or you put it into what they call step mode. Let's do that. You gotta be logged in the service. And you go into step mode, and you hit your start button.
Okay.
Every time you hit your start button,
Goes to the next step in the
it does
sequence.
something within the program.
Gotcha.
And what you can do is step it to the point that it pre-registers the plate.
Okay.
You want to step it 1 or 2 more times until the pushers push the plate.
Okay.
There you go. Okay. And when you do that, now your plate's aligned in there. You can actually
The first step is accept the plate into the machine. Okay.
okay.
Second step is
You just push your start button once. Just keep repeating it until you get to the position you want to be.
okay.
So now it's pushed into location by the pushers. It's up against the stops. The 3 stops, only 1 on the tail and 2 on the side. This is where you will check the sap sensor.
Okay.
Sap 1 and sap 4 detect the edge of the plate. So you would break these loose here and you slide it sideways until your indicator comes on.
Okay.
Back it off till it goes off and just creep in until it goes back on.
Okay.
Sap 2 detects the end of the plate.
Right.
And you break these 2 screws loose and you adjust it in and out for that.
Gotcha.
Same thing. Now if you set it so close from back to back plates, it may get some failures.
Okay.
And it'll record it up here in the alarm history, sap sensor. And it'll tell you which sap sensor you're in there with.
So if it doesn't get this sap sensor right now, it's going to reject this plate if
Yep.
it's in normal mode.
In either vision or an edge.
Okay. Read all sap. Okay. Go ahead.
Now, for double tuck, it'll be sap 1, sap 4, and sap 3.
Okay.
Sap 3 is the same thing as sap 2.
Okay.
So it detects the end of the plate.
Gotcha. So right now you could step it all the way through
You can
edge,
step it all the way through.
edge bending
This
that
is
plate.
great. This is a great troubleshooting tool. It's also a great tool to use for when you want to make some adjustments.
Okay.
And so you know where each step is. You just keep going and make your
Right.
adjustments there.
You could see if you're getting your input from any of the
Yep.
various devices. So the plate gauge will verify that my plate is square and my punches are in the right place. But
Perpendicularity, right?
right. But as far as the angle of the bend,
Protractor.
protractor? Okay. All right. And not that I ever want to change that. God knows I don't ever want to change that. But are there just stops for like?
Your bend angles you change by these 2 screws here on that gear rack.
Oh, okay. This.
Now that particular for your trail side, these stops are for this bend.
Okay.
When it goes to put this other courtesy
The
bend
second.
on, your brass block will shoot out, and those 2 bolts there limit the stroke to put this on.
Okay.
So on this one down here, if you drop the bolts, it'll take the angle and lessen it.
Okay.
If you raise the bolts, it'll wrap the plate more.
Gotcha.
Here, if you raise the bolts, it lessens the angle. If you lower the bolts, it'll make the angle more.
Does one impact the other? If you
Yes.
adjust one, is it going
Yeah,
to?
because due to the spring back.
Gotcha.
Because the first bend it puts on is this one.
Okay.
So depending on what angle you change here is going to change the final angle on this one.
Okay.
So you got to work between the 2 until you get the
Right.
angles you want. On the lead side, you got your rack over here.
And I'm just realizing there's only one cylinder to operate the
Right.
whole anvil.
Right.
Okay.
Yep. The upper handle's controlled strictly by that one cylinder.
Gotcha. And I see we've got sensors to detect the piston came back up or the,
Yeah, we detect certain positions of this machine to make sure we know where it's at before it goes to the next step.
okay,
Your bend leaf cylinders or your upper anvil cylinders detects them when they're in the up position.
okay,
These cylinders here bring the whole upper anvil down,
okay,
and we detect when it's in the down position.
okay.
So we know it's okay, we're down where we belong. We can wrap the angle or the handle around.
Gotcha.
The cylinder that moves the heads in and out has got sensors underneath, and there's two of them, one in and one out on this one. That one just has one out. The register bar cylinder also has sensors on it,
Okay.
so it knows if it's in and out.
When the anvil, what's the right name for this assembly? The
Lower anvil.
The lower
They
anvil?
call this the distance bar.
Okay,
This is the lower anvil.
okay,
Upper anvil,
okay,
clamp bar.
okay. That all moves as an assembly, right?
Yes.
And
yes.
when it moves in, I see. Oh, it's going to stop using the shock absorber. Down?
Well, the shock just lessens the impact.
Okay,
Your stops are still here.
and that's actually what sets that distance.
Mhm.
Okay,
And there's three of them. Two on each end, and then one in the middle.
gotcha. Okay. These devices I'm seeing. Oh, that's just a screw on a.
That's your side stops.
Oh, it just isn't up right now.
Right.
Okay.
Those are side stops, and that gives you your location from the edge of the plate to the center line of your punch.
Okay. What's going on down here, Dave?
Okay. Easier if I stuff it through and explain it to you.
Okay.
The other side too. Everything's the same way. When the head comes, well, right now when the heads are in to accept the plate, the slides are up. No, I'm sorry, the slide is down. This stop bolt is up against the stop bolt that's on the slide.
Okay.
That is your entrance position.
Okay.
That's its pre-register position.
Okay.
Okay. Then when the plate gets in there and it's time to start pushing in location, the bars come in. These are the stops for your bar position coming in.
All right.
Right now we're vacuuming the plate down. Heads go to the out position. This is your registration and your punch position. That is controlled by this lower bolt. That changes punch depth. If you change these, you will have